Alright, I'm going to make a quick video about charging at home. This is a level 2 Tesla wall charger that you can get for your house. Pardon the porch, but what I've got is I've got the back of an electric panel in the storage area, and they've run a 240 volt line out of the back of that panel, down, clipped it against the wall, and installed this charger. Here in Virginia, the charger I think was about $450, and installation of that line and the charger itself I got for another $400. So there's a little bit of cost involved in setting this up, but if you're committed to going Tesla into the future, this makes a whole lot of sense. I'm going to show how to hook up the charger and set your charging statistics. So I'll give you a sneak peek though. This cost me about $1 a day or less to keep my Tesla charged up. So I'll show you. I think it's a 24-foot cable that you get with the wall charger. So I don't know how that's coming through depth-wise, but there's a good distance there to give you options for plugging up. All you have to do is tap the charging port. This is true of all Teslas, even the Cybertruck. It's a different location, but you just tap it and it opens. You plug it right in and you watch the LED. It'll go green once it's got a good connection, and now she's charging. And I don't want to disrupt it. When I open the door, the screen will go away, but you can see, and I don't know if maybe you've seen these if you ever passed a Tesla while it's charging, but it tells you how long to get to the current charge limit and what the current battery percentage is. So I'm at 49%, and in about 2 hours and 20 minutes, I can charge up to 80%. Now let me get in the car, show you a little bit how you can interact with this. Pardon the music. All right, I'm gonna zoom out. I don't know why I'm so zoomed in. Sorry about that. So as you're charging, whether you're sitting at a supercharger or if you're here at home, there's two main things you can set. It's the charge limit, how much you want to charge the battery. For a long-range battery like what I have in this long-range all-wheel drive Model 3, they recommend your daily limit be 80%, and you can charge up to 100 for long-range driving. If I zoom in, you can see it has a daily limit, and then it tells you if you're going to go beyond 80, that should be only when you're doing a trip. It shouldn't be your daily thing. Simply grabbing this and dragging it can set your charge limit, how far you want the battery to charge. Let me get that set back to 80. The other important thing, and again, you won't adjust this really at a supercharger, but at home, you can set your kind of like your charge rate. So with a home charger on a 240 volt line, there's a 60 amp breaker, and these level 2 home chargers are rated at a 48 amp maximum sustained charge rate. Gives 12 amps of overage within the breaker. But you can turn that down if you want it to charge slower. Now, why on earth would you want to do that? In my particular case, the electrician notified me that my main 100 amp feed line to my sub panel was something like number 2 wire, which really has a 98 amp maximum rating versus the full 100. What that means is if I'm charging at maximum rate and it's wintertime and I have auxiliary heat come on, I run the risk of warming up that main electric line because it may overdraw by a few amps, which obviously is very dangerous. So what I've got, and I have that electrician coming back out to replace that line with a number 1 wire, probably early next year, so I can run everything more effectively. But until then, in the winter, what I would want to do is dial this back down to 40 amps or 38 amps. And what that means is as the car is charging, it won't charge so fast that it competes with other objects or other appliances on that sub panel, and so it won't heat up the main electric wire, and there's no fire hazard. For most of the time, if you install one of these, you're likely going to keep it cranked up. And if we look that I've done maximum 48 amps, let's give it a moment to adjust. It says that I've got 2 hours and 35 remaining to get to 80%, and you see that that's dropping as it upped the amperage rate. Let me drop this down. Let's cut it to half and just show you. So let me jump this down to 24 amps. That's half of its available charge rate. I'll come over here, and then you'll see that charge time creeping back up. You know, we were at, I think, 2 hours and 20 minutes. We're already over an hour more it would charge. So you can slowly charge this if you prefer. There might be a reason to do so, but for the most part, you'll leave it on the maximum amperage. And as we bump that back up, we'll see the charge rate enhance. Full 48 amps, which is a maximum of 11 kilowatts charge rate. And this will probably be like a little over 2 hours to get to 80%, which is about the time I'm going to the chiropractor, so that's perfect. I'll be fully at 80 before I leave. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach a graphic to the end of this video and show the statistics for my charging rate. But suffice it to say, it's about $1 a day per charging. I think I'm probably less than that right now because I haven't been doing as much driving lately. And it's just fantastic. And the app gives you the amount of gas that you've saved comparatively, and it does that in real time. I'll have the graphic up as I'm talking about this, but it'll actually look up the average gasoline rate in your area. And you can even put in who your power company is, and it will try and find what your rate is. I think for mine here in Virginia, Dominion Virginia Power, it's about 12 cents per kilowatt hour. And so it keeps track of how much you're charging, what your charging rate is, and it gives you what your gas savings are. How much did you save having an electric car versus gas, right? So how much would you have paid for this range if you were paying gas versus electric? And it comes down to a little less than $1 a day, which I think is fantastic. So that alone should be enough, I think, to sway a lot of people towards getting a Tesla, because it is about a quarter of the cost for fuel, or if you want to call it energy, for driving than it is for gas.